Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Chapter 3.6 Notes. Today we are talking about solving equations involving ratios and proportions. Our learning target today is to be able to solve problems involving ratios and proportions. So, before we get started, let's talk about what those words actually mean. Now, a ratio is a quotient that compares two quantities that have different units, okay? Remember that quotient, that word means to divide. In class, we talked about the ratio of boys to girls, okay? And you can write that as 10 over 15, 10 to 15, or 10 to 15. See, we're comparing two different things together. Now, a proportion is when you have two ratios that are equal to each other, okay? So when we are making them equal, you'll see examples of those on the bottom, okay? Now, to determine whether the following represents true proportions, we have to answer yes or no. So are they truly equal to each other, okay? So we have 5 over 7 equaling 15 to 21. What do you have to multiply 5 by to get to 15? Okay, that's 3. What about 7? 3. Okay, so that means that it's a proportion, okay? Now, let's look at the next one. 2 times what equals 7? That I'm not sure. But 9 we times it by 4. But if we times 2 by 4, because we have to do the same thing to both, no, those are not equal to each other. Okay, let's look at the next one. 9 times what gives you 56? I don't know, but what about 4 to 24? Well, I know that's 6. 9 times 6, well, that's 54, so this is no. Okay, now this one we got to go backwards because it's getting smaller. 12 divided by what gives you 3? And that's 4. 32 divided by 4, is that 8? Yes. Now, what we're going to be working with mostly is solving proportions. And the way to solve proportions is using cross multiplication. Okay? So, let's take a look at how that looks. You need to multiply 3 times W and then 2 times 27. And if you don't know how to do that, you have to show the side work over here because we're not using calculators. All right? Now, to solve that, you have to divide both sides and you get W equals, this is on your multiplication chart, 18. Okay? All right, so cross multiplication. You multiply the two things. 16 times 3, that is on your multiplication chart, and that equals 48. Get the x by itself by dividing both sides, and you get x equals 2. Okay, now these ones, they might look a little bit difficult, but what we have to do is we have to put these in parentheses, okay? We're still doing the cross multiplication. Okay, but now you're doing 2 times k minus 4 equals, and you're doing 5 times k plus 2. Okay, so that's what you're going to be multiplying. And that's where you get 2k minus 8 equals 5k plus 10. Okay, and now let's get your x's to once, or your variables to one side. So I'm going to subtract the 2k. We get negative 8 equals 3k plus 10. You get to subtract the 10 to both sides. We get negative 18 equals 3k. And then divide both sides by 3. And we get k equals -6. Okay, so it's a little bit more work, but it's pretty much the same thing. You're multiplying and then solving. Okay, so let's go ahead. Whenever you see these, I'm going to put parentheses around the ones. Okay, multiply 12 times y plus 2 equals 20 y minus 6. Okay, multiply that out. 20y minus 120. You need to draw the line down both sides so you can see the two different sides. I'm going to subtract the smaller variable, 8y minus 120. Add 120 to both sides. Get 144 equals 8y. Divide both sides by 8. That's on your multiplication charts. 18 equals y. All right, why don't you guys try and set up and solve E. Let's pause the video and see how you do. Okay, and after you cross multiply that and solve for your x, you end up getting x equals 10. Now, a question I get all the time, excuse me, almost sneezed, is does it matter what side is on which? Okay, so if you were to start this as 4 parentheses x plus 10 equals 10 x minus 2, that doesn't matter. Okay, as long as you're doing the math and following the rules properly, it doesn't matter which side is on which. Okay? All right, let's go with F. Okay, so 2w times 7 equals 5w minus 3. Okay, so you get 14w equals 5w minus 15. Get your variable to one side, so we're going to minus 5w minus 5w. And we get 9w equals negative 15. Divide both sides by 9. Ooh, this one you're going to get a fraction, but negative 15 over 9, can you reduce that? So negative 15 over 9. Pretty sure you can divide 3 into both of those, and you would get negative 5/3. And getting a fraction is okay. Okay. So why don't you guys go ahead and pause the video. I want you to do these 3 problems, and let's see how you do. Good luck, guys. All right, so what I did first was I wrote down with cross multiplication how you should have set it up, and then what it would have been when you distributed, and then I'm pretty sure you guys should be able to get the answers from there. And so all I did was write what your final answer should have been. Okay? So if you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself because we would love to help you out. Otherwise, thanks for watching Algebra 2, Chapter 3.6, Part 1.